Okay, so in today's video, this is going to be something drastically different than what I'm used to doing. And I'm going to tell you now, this is probably be the first and last time I ever make a video like this. Typically, a subject like this would be something I would put on my podcast, but I'm not currently doing a podcast right now because me and my wife, we are looking to do some different things. But for sure, I'm going to be back on my podcast, just me by myself. But we're just trying to figure out a second podcast, okay? So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Josh Giddey versus, let's just say, all these other black athletes, okay? Um, Apparently, there are black people that are saying that it's super racist that Josh Giddey has not gotten the coverage that other black athletes have gotten when they've done things, very bad things, let's just say that. And here's why it's important to me. One, I am confused because I'm trying to figure out what do people not understand about the differences. Clearly, to me, there's a difference between Josh Giddey's current situation, and it can change, versus other black athletes that you'll see. To me, there's a drastic difference that people want to ignore, and they want to say it shouldn't matter, but in reality, they do matter. Okay, but let's jump right into it. Let's start with Josh Giddey and exactly what happened with him. I mean, at this point, you should know by now. It's national news, world news. At least, well, they're talking about it in Australia. I think that's where he's from. Um, Apparently, 2 years ago, well, we found out since all this stuff has come out. 2 years ago, he has been accused of having an inappropriate relationship with someone underage. At the time, from all the information that I know, and I think that's been gathered so far, he was 19, and this other particular person could have been significantly younger than him. I'm thinking what people have said and what the media has said, she may have been 15. Okay, this happened in California. Now, I do have to note this is accusations made by someone that has been anonymous and has since then deleted all of these things that they said. So that is the gist of what we know. Now, there are some updates. At one point, there were no parents or the young lady that was involved. No one was cooperating. But since then, I think as of a few days ago, today is December the 8th, apparently there are new lawyers that are involved, high-profile lawyers on the young lady's side with the parents. That's the gist of everything. It was an anonymous, I guess, person on the internet saying that, hey, at the time she was underage. No one knows. Currently in Newport Beach, California, there is now an investigation trying to figure out and get to the bottom of all of these situations, or this particular situation. Okay, that's the gist of it. So people are upset that, hey, this is not getting major media attention, I guess, from ESPN, which they made a statement. And I'm assuming people are not satisfied with that. But in my mind, there's not much to talk about. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What else could you say about this situation without causing yourself a lot of issues if these things turn out to not be true, or if there's more context behind this situation that turns out maybe there wasn't much wrong. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because, listen, I have no dog in the fight. I am not a lawyer. I don't know, but I do have enough common sense to know that we can't just speculate to the point where we accuse people of doing things that there's no facts. That's the thing. No one's been arrested. There's no actual victim just yet that we know of, or at least no one has come out and saying, yes, I was underage. But also, I feel like if this person comes out, they're going to have to explain how they got into a place that was probably not meant for people that were her age. I think that's the big issue. But yeah, there's not much. That's what I'm trying to figure out. There's not much to go on. There's not much to talk about. And people are upset that they're not continuing to talk about it. I don't get what else would you like people to talk about? Most media outlets have said, hey, he's been accused of such and such and such, of this very inappropriate relationship with a young lady. I'm trying to figure out exactly what else could there be to talk about. Is this supposed to stay in the media when, one, he's not been arrested? There's currently starting to be an investigation, which means we're in the early part of figuring out exactly what's going on. Okay, what could we possibly, or what could they particularly talk about at this particular time without having a defamation lawsuit? And I think that's what people don't quite understand, especially, when they were small time creators. Maybe you have 1 million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. You haven't really dealt with large amounts of money when it comes to your particular YouTube channel just yet. And, you don't have high profile lawyers. Now, I'm assuming what's happening with ESPN is they're probably being told to be quiet about this because there's not enough facts. I'm also looking at it like this too. He's probably still playing because a few good reasons, I would assume. One, this was 2 years ago and they thought it was swept under the rug, to be honest, with the OKC Thunder. Two, there's simply just nothing yet. And everyone's playing the waiting game. That's what I'm assuming is happening with the NBA right now. Now, the NBA is investigating it. And like I said, the police are investigating it. There will be information coming out. Okay, we'll get back to Josh Giddey here in 1 second. But what I want to do is kind of walk through some of these black athletes and kind of show you that there was actually a difference between what has happened or what's currently happening with Josh Giddey, and what has happened in the past with some of these other black athletes, and how it's actually not racist at all. At least I don't see it. Maybe, some people do see it different. I'm not trying to make this video is not intended to be controversial, by the way. I'm simply trying to understand, okay? And if somebody wants to respond to this video, please, by all means, please respond. Okay, let's start from the top. I have a little list of people. And matter of fact, let's just start with Von Miller. Von Miller, one, has been arrested and accused. There's a victim of domestic violence. Now, apparently, may not be true. Maybe some police reports were fabricated by the police. Look, that is what people are saying. That is what he and his girlfriend is saying. She's saying that, hey, my physical appearance is not, I guess, lining up with what they wrote down. That is what has been said. I don't know, okay? I don't follow this stuff. I don't really care about these athletes like that. But that's recent. But what I'm trying to get people to understand, he's been arrested. And there has been some YouTubers saying that, hey, you're moving the goalposts when you say, hey, but they've been arrested. Well, I'm sorry, that's not moving the goalpost. It's not moving the goalpost because, one, that means there's preliminary evidence that exists, which means there's more for me to talk about. Do you see how that works? And again, this is going to sound very condescending. I don't want people to get upset, but I'm just wanting people to understand everything's not racist. Sometimes there's just nothing to talk about because there's monetary issues that could happen if we are premature about information. That's all I'm saying. But if someone's already been arrested, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say, hey, yeah, we can probably talk about this in a little bit more detail and make a whole little small segment on this. Josh Giddey is a snippet right now because there's nothing there. There's more information that needs to be pulled out of that whole situation. And so we can get to not we. I keep saying we. I'm not even involved in this stuff. But there's more information that needs to be pulled out that has not been given yet. Okay. But anyway, that's just one instance. I mean, you have Ime Udoka. We know what happened to him. Everything's been put out on Front Street. Although I don't agree with how that all took place, they shamed that man. You know what I mean? And, most of the women on ESPN wanted to shame him as well. Nevertheless, he put himself in that situation, didn't he? He was having an inappropriate relationship with someone he worked with and someone high up in the organization's wife. We don't even need to rehash that, okay? And I'm going to give you a few more examples. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is there were victims. People were caught red-handed. That is what I'm wanting people to understand. Josh Giddey, we don't know what's happening right now. That's why it's different. But okay, let's just do some little investigating on some of the stories that, let's say, ESPN and other places have done. Okay, let's start with Josh Primo. He he has been sued for exposing himself to a person on the Spurs team. There's a lawsuit. Okay, please remember that there's a lawsuit. So therefore, there is a little bit of facts that we can talk about. Well, again, I'm saying there's facts that can be talked about because there's a lawsuit. There's court filings, okay? There is there are preliminary facts into this case that you can actually talk about. Next, and I'm going to try to keep these things short, okay? I'm not going to try to go into these people's, like, their whole lives, okay? And again, I'm not going to get to everyone. There's going to be a lot more people that I'm not going to talk about. Let's see. Brandon Miller. He has been accused of giving a friend on the basketball team a firearm, and then that particular firearm being used in a fatal shooting of a woman. Okay. Now, I don't think he was charged with anything, but yet again, there's facts and evidence already in that case, okay, that people could easily elaborate and talk about. Yet again, there's court documents, lawyers, all those things that were already involved in that case. Ja Morant. Now, this is one I'm like, okay, this is a little iffy. I don't agree with a lot of things that happen with this, but again, that's just my personal opinion. I'm with you on this one. First incident, he had an issue with the Indiana Pacers. Him and his posse of boys got in the car and pointing red laser dots at people. They thought it was a gun. First incident. That is troubling, yes. Second incident, which by this time, I think he put himself more into the limelight than he should have. He should have just laid low. That's it. Second incident, strip club. Brandishing a gun in a strip club on live. He did this to himself. Nobody recorded him doing these things. He did that particular thing on his own, maybe in a drunken state, or maybe he didn't drink. I don't know. I don't think he had anything to drink. I think he was drinking lemonade. I don't know. Not 100% sure. But, okay. Third incident. Him, yet again, was not recording himself, but he knew someone was recording on live, and he decided to pull out a gun. He's been suspended 25 games. Yeah, right or wrong, I don't know. Maybe 25 is a little too harsh. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Okay, but with that one, a lot of evidence, okay? A lot of evidence. A lot of the evidence he's given when it comes to the two guns, a lot of evidence he just gave away for free. Because he recorded himself, and the second one, he knew he was being recorded, and he should have just left the gun right by his side, okay? Okay, this is Mikey Williams. He was arrested on 5 charges of assault with a deadly weapon, okay? The key thing is he's been arrested, okay? There's facts and evidence that, I would say preliminary evidence, okay? Not accusing this young man of doing anything wrong. I don't know. But what I'm saying is there's preliminary evidence to indicate for him to be arrested. And he's been arrested. And there's probably going to be a whole court filing and court case that's probably already ongoing with that. So there's things that you can actually talk about. There's facts and evidence that can actually be talked about. Okay? Let's keep moving. I'm going to do maybe one more. Okay? Who is this? Kevin Porter Jr. In September, he was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend. He was arrested, which means there was preliminary facts and evidence that they used to arrest this young man. Do you get what I'm trying to show you guys? Being arrested is very important. That's the difference between what is going on with Josh Giddey and some of these athletes. And some with the few examples that were not arrested, well, one, they were caught red-handed. Then two, the other one gave the evidence to the NBA, gave it to the world. So there's facts that were already presented that you could talk about. You could create whole segments on these particular topics with these particular black athletes. In my opinion, there's nothing racist about what's going on here. And then yet again, listen, I don't work for nobody. I'm simply just a humble dude that just got back on YouTube after taking 2 years off, okay? That's it. That's all I am. I'm simply asking what's going on. Like, I don't understand why people are upset about this. Why are people calling this racist? This has nothing to do with racism and them trying to paint a picture of black people one way and white people another. I don't see it in this particular case here, in this one, okay? I'm not talking about any other ones. I know there's the young man that beat up his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and she was almost unalived by the way he beat her up. Now, that one, yes, I'm with you on that one. I don't think that was I don't think that was covered enough to justify what happened, okay? That should have been covered a lot more. And trust me, swept under the rug. That one, yes, I can agree. That one was swept under the rug, and it should have had more media coverage on ESPN and all of these sports places. But at the same time, to be honest, I just wish they would get back to sports. That's my big thing. I don't watch a lot of ESPN or Fox Sports. Now, I do watch Stephen A. Smith on his podcast. I love it. I do watch Shannon Sharp on his podcast. I love it. I do watch The Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho. I watch that. I love it. I watch a lot of these NBA players' podcasts. Draymond Green, Paul George, Pat Beverly. I love all of their content, okay? So, yeah, I don't watch as much sports, but I do love their content they have on YouTube. And I'm not going to lie, I do watch NBA and football sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time, but not enough to know exactly what the hell's going on in these people's lives, okay? Yeah, please help me out. I don't know. I'm very much confused. Not everything is racist, okay? And for damn sure, I just don't think this is racist. I don't think they're trying to cover this for this young man just yet. One, no one knows what's going on. It's just simple as that. Now, I would say, listen, if the facts come out and they don't talk about it anymore and it's found to be true, that what he did was true, then, okay, now we have something to talk about. For sure, we have something to talk about, and it's not good. And then we can say now they're covering it up if they don't talk about it and give it the same energy they've given all these other ones, which, to be honest, they haven't really, like, when they've covered some of these things, it's not multiple days unless there's multiple days of new evidence and more things to talk about. Then yes, I do see them continue to talk about some of these things. But for the most part, it's like a one and done. Or, like I said, unless more evidence or court filing has come and it's over with, there's a ruling, they've been found guilty or not guilty, okay, then that's when I do notice, yeah, they talk about it again. But I don't see anything unfair about this just yet. Everything's speculation. Everything's under investigation. People are just trying to figure out what the hell's true and what's not true. What is her age? Who knows? Okay, please, somebody. Don't nobody have to respond to this video. But what I'm saying is, help me understand. Somebody make a video, and maybe somebody try to point me to a video to where someone's made and figure out, okay, given all that we know with Josh Giddey, here's my question. Given all that we know and the lack thereof, what we know with Josh Giddey, one, what is there to talk about? And if there is something to talk about, please you explain to me what they should talk about. Two, why do you not see the difference between what has happened with all these other black athletes, that there's actually been arrests? How is that moving the goalpost when there's actual, like I said before, even if, it goes nowhere, there is enough evidence, preliminary evidence to say and indicate an arrest. There's facts there that has been corroborated by a victim of whatever. There's something there to talk about. So, how do you not see the difference? Is my last question. There's a clear difference, in my opinion, and that's not moving the goalposts. That's actual factual evidence. Getting arrested it's a big deal. Okay, it's a traumatic experience for anyone. I've never been arrested, and it would be extremely traumatic for me. If there was enough evidence to indicate that I've done something wrong, that's a traumatic experience. Okay, but anyways, okay, help me understand, people. I don't know what I'm looking at, and I don't understand the outrage. All right, okay, peace.